Hello. What does diversity look like for Pittsburgh companies? Tim Stevens is here to share the diversity playbook local businesses are using. And is it time for a Pittsburgh Walk of Fame? We'll introduce you to a leader who says yes. Also, Gwens Girls has broken ground on a new permanent home. Dr. Kathy Elliott will tell us where. Plus, Pittsburgh native and actor Lamman Rucker is coming to town to help men heal. So pull up a chair and meet us at the corner. Intersection starts right now. Hello, I'm Lisa Smith, the Director of Community Impact at KDKA Plus and the host of Intersections. For years, Pittsburgh's Corporate Equity and Inclusion Roundtable has worked to increase diversity in the workplace. They just held their 12th annual conference, and so joining us to talk about it are Tim Stevens with BPEP and the facilitator for CEIR, and also Tricina Cash. She is the Executive Vice President of the Eastern Minority Supplier Development Council. Welcome both of you to Intersections.
Thank you. Good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's obviously been a lot happening in this area of diversity in the workplace. And last year, Tim, you were here talking about how all three of the local professional teams have signed on to the CEIR playbook. What have we seen in this last year?
Well, they're all starting to put the playbook into action. One of the significant things that we announced on Monday at the 12th annual conference was that the Steelers have produced their video based on the playbook. And Art Rooney II, the president of the Steelers, will be sending that out across the nation. We have a national version of our playbook. We have a local version, a national version. He's sending it out to all the 31 teams along with the video, which includes Mel Blunt and Bettis, the bus, talking from the defensive side and the offensive side about what we need to do to have diversity, equity, and inclusion. Our concern with this conference was the Supreme Court decision of June 29, 2003. And our focus was, how do we challenge, or how do we meet the challenges, the new challenges, caused by that June 29, 2003 decision on affirmative action, which we were concerned that others far beyond universities and colleges would take that decision and try to apply it to corporations and companies and other entities, which has begun to happen, if you watch cable news particularly. So we're challenging that. We had a great lineup of presenters. Tricina was one of our fireside chat leaders, and we're talking about how do we take that on. Our speaker, Audra Bahanan, was magnificent in saying that leadership is personal. Starts with you, particularly those in leadership positions within these entities. If they want to achieve meaningful diversity, equity, and inclusion, starts with them, they send it down the pike, they make sure it gets done. Our playbook has action steps by which you can accomplish diversity, equity, inclusion, and also an analysis of where you are at any one time. Like this step we could do now, we are doing it, or we can do it in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. This we need more time, whatever. So it's a playbook of action, not conversation.
Yeah. So Tricina, tell us a little bit about what you guys do in terms of supplier diversity and helping those minority companies get access to some of these contracts that are out here. And it's not just here in Pittsburgh, it's like Eastern, it's Pennsylvania, it's New Jersey. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
First of all, thank you so much for having me and having Tim here today. So the Eastern Minority Supplier Development Council is one of 23 regional councils that are affiliated with the National Minority Supplier Development Council. We've been doing the work for 50 years. And after reconsolidation of the various councils about 10 years ago, the Western PA Council became part of Eastern. And so we cover Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Southern New Jersey, but we don't limit ourselves. We have over, for the first time, 1,000 certified minority-owned and controlled businesses in our region, but we also help those businesses become more competitive and not only do business where they're domiciled, but throughout the United States and globally. Our particular council is unique in terms of the fact that we are a charter member of the Global Supplier Diversity Alliance, And we are actually leading, our president and CEO, Brian K. Oglesby, is leading efforts for all of the Americas, and we have strategic agreements with a number of different countries. We're heavily invested in supplier development. We have corporate membership, institutional members. The Pittsburgh Penguins is actually a corporate member. They have adopted the playbook. We have a relationship with the Players Association of the NFL. We have a partnership with Vibrant Pittsburgh and of course with CEIR, that platform. And we're working with a number of local organizations for an accelerator program that we call the Business Navigators Accelerator Program that was we were blessed to be funded through the YWCA with almost $1 million when they received McKinsey Scott grant monies. Yeah. And so it's dedicated to focusing on Allegheny County for for minority-owned businesses as well as women-owned businesses. And so we're doing quite a bit of work. And really our message is that the diversification of supply chains just makes sense for the economy.
Yeah. So we only have like a couple of minutes left, but I do want to ask, what are you seeing in terms of, well, 1 minute left. What are you seeing in terms of what businesses are, how they're being received? Are they being received? Are they able to make inroads? Are we seeing some?
We are, and one of the things that Mayor Gainey has been really celebrating is that for the first time the city of Pittsburgh has 3 major or prime contracts with Black-owned businesses. Latrinda Linner is one of those businesses that is going to be supporting a very major contract. But 3 is absolutely not enough. And in addition to supporting those diverse businesses and Black-owned businesses here in our region, we also want to be an attractive place for business investment for businesses outside of Pittsburgh that are diverse to do business here as well.
Okay, well, we are out of time. I'm so sorry, but I really appreciate you both coming here today and talking about this really important topic. And we're going to come back because, Tim, I want to follow up with you on some other work that you're doing in terms of doing a survey of what's happening here in town.
Yeah, the Black Retention Survey.
Yeah, so thank you so much for being with us again today, and we'll see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, coming up, a Pittsburgh Walk of Fame is happening. The organizer is here to share all of the details. Intersections. We'll be right back. Andrew Mellon, August Wilson, George Westinghouse, George Benson, all names known in Pittsburgh and beyond, and there are many more. So that is why one local woman thinks it is time for Pittsburgh to have its own Walk of Fame. Nancy Polinsky Johnson is the executive director of the Pittsburgh Walk of Fame, a recently organized nonprofit, and she joins us now on Intersections. Welcome, Nancy, to the show.
Thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Yeah, so we were talking earlier, and you said you have wanted to see this happen for a long time.
For a long time. It's been about a dozen years since I went to St. Louis on a visit and stumbled onto their terrific St. Louis Walk of Fame. And as I was walking and reading and learning, I thought, wow, Pittsburgh needs one of these. And we're very much on the cusp now of doing it.
Yeah, so a lot of things have been happening recently. You know, you became a nonprofit. Tell us a little bit about some of these behind the scenes moves that are kind of pushing this idea forward.
Okay, well, when I came back from that trip to St. Louis a dozen years ago, I contacted my then councilman, Bill Peduto, and I said, Bill, Pittsburgh needs this. You know, he said, you can make it happen, you've got my support. So I went from company to company, from foundation to foundation, and I said, look, here's what I want to do. Do you think it's a good idea? I don't want to get started without knowing that people, movers and shakers in the city thought it was a good idea. And across the board, nobody said, that doesn't work for me. Everybody said, great idea. But at the time, I owned a business. I was a magazine publisher, and it was just a draining job, and I couldn't really gain a whole lot of traction, but we formed a terrific committee that kind of moved it forward. And then during the pandemic, I got my priorities straight, and I said, I need to sell that magazine. I need to make this my full-time objective. And since then, we have formed a board of directors, gained our 501c3 status. The IRS recognizes us as a, a charitable organization. We have determined what the processes will be, how this is going to work, and we're getting ready to fly.
Yeah. So one of the things obviously is a location.
Yes.
Kind of where are we on that?
We are. I wish I could say we're very, very, very close. We have identified a spot that we think is ideal. We have a lot of people on board saying great spot, but until the powers that be say yes, you can put it on that city sidewalk, I would not feel comfortable saying this is where it's going to be, but we'll let you know as soon as we can or as soon as it happens.
Okay, all right. So how do you imagine it? Do you imagine it as something that's interactive or just like, plaques on the floor, on the ground rather? What are your thoughts?
Well, I can tell you very clearly what we expect it to be. It is going to be unlike the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is the one that most people know. And there are many walks of fames in this country. You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
The Hollywood one, very famous, 5-pointed stars with the name of somebody and an icon that tells you they were either a movie star or a radio star or whatever. And that's it. In St. Louis, it's a 5-pointed star with a name and a plaque underneath it describing that person and their contribution to American culture and their tie to St. Louis. We would follow that model, a star with a plaque, but we would enhance it thanks to the geniuses at CMU who have devised a prototype app for us. You download the app, all you have to do is point it at the star. You don't need a QR code, and wonderful things happen on your phone.
Yeah, oh, that sounds really great. So obviously, there would be a huge benefit to Pittsburgh to have something like this. What do you think, in the last minute,
Sure,
what do you
okay.
think that benefit would be?
Well, it is our hope that this becomes what we would call a first day attraction. You come to Pittsburgh, okay, we don't think you're going to come for the Walk of Fame. You're coming for a baseball game, an event, a wedding. And while you're here, what are you going to do? You're going to go up the incline, just look at the view. You're going to go visit the Strip, have a sandwich. And I've heard you should also go see the Pittsburgh Walk of Fame, which would be a tremendous educational experience.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a great idea. I can't wait to continue this conversation with you as the time goes by. So we'll definitely have you back to find out more about who's going to be in that inaugural list. And thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to hold you to that follow-up invitation.
Absolutely. Thanks,
Lisa.
Nancy. All right, well, Pittsburgh's own Lamman Rucker joins us next to talk men's mental health. And Dr. Kathy Elliott shows us the future home of Gwens girls. Intersections. We'll be right back. Well, for more than 20 years, Gwens Girls has been the answer for young girls and women who are at risk in Allegheny County. The nonprofit offers nurturing, increased self-esteem and development. Now the program is getting a boost of its own in the form of a new multi-purpose building in Wilkinsburg. Dr. Kathy Elliott is CEO of Gwens Girls, and she joins us now to talk about this new development. Welcome to Intersections. Welcome back to Intersections.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
Yes, absolutely. So this is an exciting time, right?
It is, Lisa.
Yeah. Tell us about the building and the groundbreaking.
Yeah, so it's been in the works for maybe now 3 years. We were fortunate to have purchased the building about a year ago, paid it off, so it's Gwens Girls free and clear. And so now we're in the process of rehabbing it so that it can be a space that our girls love to come and to be at.
Yeah. Was this always kind of the vision to have your own location? And what does having your own location do for what you're trying to do with Gwens Girls?
It was the vision. Many people say your mom would be so proud and happy. And I know that I remember before Gwens Girls even was started, we was riding around the city looking at different locations, and actually was in like Lawrenceville. And so I know this is something that she would be, happy about. But for me personally, I'm coming up on 9 years of being the CEO of Gwens Girls, and that was one of the first things that I, had set out to do, is to have a permanent home. So no matter who is in the leadership position, as well as the girls, they always would have a space and not have to worry about, where they would be or rent and all that other stuff.
How did you end up with the Wilkinsburg location?
Well, it was a process, and it was truly a collaborative process. had helped with many different people riding around looking at different buildings, and ironically that building I looked at first and then was trying to find other locations, but went back to that building just because of the location, the fact that it's in a community that we want to be a part of and that we already are, have space and community forage in Wilkinsburg. And it's just a space where we can contribute, and that's where, you know, what Gwens Girls is all about.
Yeah, so it looks like a lot of thought and detail went into kind of the planning for what will be inside.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about some of the spaces.
Yeah, so I want to say that one of the things that we've learned is that, you know, we want to create the space with the girls and have them part of the process, because first of all, it's their space, but it also was an opportunity for them to see different professions and the different people that go into making this space, and they may be a career that they want to pursue. But we had listening sessions and brought in the community to, you know, help us to think about what did we want in that space. Mm-hmm. So we'll have a STEM suite where there'll be a recording studio, there'll be a maker space, there will be technology. We also are going to have a state-of-the-art kitchen where the girls will learn how to do some home ec stuff, but also just to be able to have a space where if we have an event there, we can utilize the kitchen. But one of the most, you know, encouraging spaces that we're looking forward to having is a mental health suite. Mm-hmm. We know that there is a need for a lot of supports in our community, and with that type of support, a lot of the things that our young people experience and don't get resolved, we hope that we can mitigate that and help them to, you know, kind of flourish and thrive, you know, after getting supports.
Yeah. So like about a minute left. So what is your target date for completion?
So the contractors have given us like a 12 to 16 month timeline. So hopefully around this time next year we'll be you know, almost looking at where we are in this space, but looking forward to that ribbon cutting. So again, to have a lot of the people from the community that have been a part of this process come and see it.
Yeah. And we're going to show your website, because I know people might still want to, you know, help participate in what you're doing.
Yes.
So we want to just congratulate you, Dr. Kathy Elliott, on the building and continuing programs for the young girls and women. And as we're showing you now, you can learn a lot more about this on their website, gwensgirls.org. Thanks again, Dr. Kathy. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All righty. Well, being open and honest about your mental health isn't easy. It can be true for men, especially Black men. There's a tour coming to Pittsburgh designed to help men open up and just heal. It's called Just Heal Bro, and Pittsburgh native and actor Lamman Rucker is part of it. I talked to him about the event. Lamman Rucker, welcome to Intersections. You are coming back home to Pittsburgh for the upcoming Just Heal Bro tour. Tell us a little bit about this tour and why you wanted to be involved.
Well, from its inception, you know, what we wanted to do was just create a, you know, really what we call a safe space, a space for honesty, for transparency. Our primary themes are vulnerability, transparency, transformation. A lot of men don't always get the permission, if you will, to really to truly be themselves, to truly speak the truth about how they feel, to have places where they can identify with what other men are going through and to share with other brothers what they're going through. We often feel that we're isolated. We often isolate ourselves. We subscribe to a lot of narratives like men don't communicate. We also, I think, unfortunately agree to the things that people say to us as well, or the way sometimes we feel people treat us like men don't have feelings. And we should know by the history of the world that you know, how much so many things happen around this world because of men's feelings.
You know, like you're saying, it's designed for only men. That means the women have to go shopping or to the salon. You know?
That's right. That's right. And you know what? Not that wouldn't be happy you went shopping anyway, but you definitely would did on a day like this. But just the same, women have a lot of work to do too, right? But this is part of what this is about as well. We need women to do their work. This is our commitment to ourselves and to one another to do this work in the way that we believe men need to do it so that we can even more adequately be who we want to be and to be there for the women and in our lives, our children, our elders as well. But I believe men will move in the world and move through the world in a relationship will be much healthier and fortified when they have the opportunity to have access to an experience like this and resources like
Yeah,
women, you're gonna have some conversations you know maybe didn't expect to have, but they're gonna do you some good. And so drop that brother off or drop that young man off. Bring your son, your nephew, godson, your mentee, your neighbors, so whoever it is, go and drop them by. Hey, y'all go and gather somewhere, and then y'all come back. But yeah, we lock the doors and we shut it down, and we go in. It's really a great time. Sincerely, we have a lot of fun. It can get heavy sometimes, or it can get heavy at times, or certain segments of it can be that way. But believe it or not, trust me, when we leave that room, you might also see tears, but they're just as many tears of joy as there are tears of cleansing and some of the trauma that maybe people have expressed and are working through, or cleansing out. But we have a great time, man. So I want the men to know, hey, you're not gonna come out of here like stressed out. You're gonna come out of here joyous and triumphant. You know what I mean?
Just Hill Bro is on Thursday, June 20th at the Pittsburgh Public Theater. There's a mixer at 6:30 and the panel discussion starts at 7:30. Free registration is available at justhill.co, and we'll also share more of our conversation on CBS News Pittsburgh and on our KDKA YouTube channel. And I'll have my last word when we come back. Fathers, whether biological or figuratively, dads are vital to who we are. They offer a sense of security and foundation that we need to develop into adults. It's important to celebrate the people who add to our lives. So hopefully you're taking this time to celebrate your fathers, grandfathers, uncles, brothers, and all the men who pour into your life. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Intersections.